Good morning. I am barely awake, so I hope this makes some kind of sense. I thought I left out one thing about in my last video. I really feel like people who are mentally at a disadvantage are more likely to be targeted by, I don't want to say, well, I guess, yeah, criminals. People who are looking to take advantage of other people who are down on their luck, down in the dumps. I had just an example, I had a friend when I was in junior high who was mentally impaired, and not too bad. I mean, she just had to go to special ed, but it was uncanny how predators just managed to zero in on her. And no, in the time I knew her, which was just junior high, she had been raped about 4 times at least, if you want to call it rape, because it wasn't really like rape, I suppose. Well, yeah, it was, because they were adults and she was a minor, so yeah, it was. But she consented because she didn't know the difference really between right and wrong. So yeah, she had there was like a math teacher in junior high, who, according to her, this happened in the closet a few times. She and I were at a Star Trek convention, junior high, and sitting in the hall, and some guy came up and wanted help hanging posters, and he elicited her help to go up to his hotel room to get the signs. And funny thing, it was an hour before she came back down, and she just couldn't understand why I would be concerned and appalled when she told me this guy had sex with her, and she didn't understand why that was wrong. And then the last time, of course, we were out at Lake Washington. There was this area of sand between 2 docks, and it was just, this girl, my friend, and myself, we were just out there waiting and stuff, and this guy came by in a canoe and wanted to offer us canoe rides, and of course he zeroed in on her first. It's like, how do they know? I don't understand how these predators can tell, but they do. They can tell. And when I was in Police Explorers, the same kind of thing, we got the same message. We were told, when you're in a city and you're walking down the sidewalk, walk with purposeful strides, like you know where you're going. Don't stare down at your feet. Don't walk and look at the ground. Don't look sad. Don't look like you're lost. Always look like you know where you're going, and like you're confident, even if you're not. Always come across like you are, because if you look like you're depressed, if you look like you're not really 100% focused on where you are and your surroundings, you're again screaming that you're a target to whoever, muggers, rapists, whatever. So that's something I learned in Police Explorers too, that body language really conveys a person's well-being mentally. Well, fast forward to the present, I've had some experiences. I've had somebody stay with me, basically found out I cared, and I feel took full advantage of that. I don't regret it, but anyway, it was a case where I feel like, I was coming out of my divorce, or it wasn't even my divorce yet. I was just leaving a marriage that meant the world to me. And then, of course, another good example of this kind of behavior is people who work for the public, people in public positions, where, like restaurants or whatever, where you have where you go and you confide to, say, a bartender about your situation, and they know how lonely you are and how needy, for lack of a better word, needy and desperate and feeling like nobody would ever want you kind of situation, and they pretend to be your friends, and they basically groom you for whatever. You think you've got a friend that you trust, everybody else doesn't want to talk to you because you're depressed, and who wants to talk to a depressed person? But this person is always there, always wanting to talk, and just seems to be your new best friend. And so anyway, people in those positions where they have, they're basically left alone with vulnerable customers, people who have mental health issues or are depressed and aren't really seeing clearly, don't have much judgment in the first place. Those people are in prime positions to target. And so, I just personally recommend that if you're in something like a bar or something like that, that you have a friend with you. You don't let yourself be alone, because you don't really know people. You think you know people, you think you can trust people, and and you think they're your friend, and it can turn out that it's exactly the opposite of what you thought, and it could really hurt you and mess up your life. So anyway, that's my little talk. Just be aware of your surroundings and be careful who you trust, and don't tell everybody everything. That was my mistake. I told everybody everything about my life, so everybody knew. It's like you don't want to put a neon sign on your face that says, "Hey, I'm vulnerable. Take advantage of me." Just keep things private to yourself, except if on support boards or whatever. But don't broadcast to everybody that you're a victim. Don't be a victim, or at least don't act like a victim, because then you'll just continue to be a victim. You'll attract people who want to victimize you. Okay, end of my early morning talk. Thanks for listening if you have. Bye.